Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now today I'm going to be sharing with you the 5 most common mistakes that I see web designers make within their own agencies. I'm going to share with you how you can resolve it to start finding success within your own business as well. So, full disclaimer, if you didn't know this already, being a web designer is actually pretty easy. Having a web design business is much more challenging. When I left my job within an agency about 3 years ago, I decided to jump into the freelance world and naively just assume that I would be okay, that I would find work because I knew how to build websites. Actually having a business, being accountable for yourself and finding new work that will pay you thousands of pounds was a lot more difficult. So fast forward a few years, I'm now in a really good place within my agency and we have reached 6 figures, which is fantastic. And the main thing that I've learned here is anything that is worth having, like a successful web design business or a life of working on your own terms and freedom, anything worth having is not easy to get. So you have to put in the work. So I'm going to be talking about the 5 most common mistakes I see web designers make, and I've actually been guilty of making these myself. And hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be able to identify them. And if you are responsible for making any of those mistakes, you'll know how to go about fixing them as well. Now, before we jump into it, please do let me know down in the comments whether there is anything that you feel like you are struggling with your web design agency. I'd love to know. And also smash the subscribe button, hit the bell notification too, and you'll be notified of future releases. All right then, so number 1 is not having a clear service offering within your business. Now, this might sound weird because you would just think that as a web designer, my service offering is web design. And to a point it is, but you need to be much more explicit than that. You need to clearly define what it is that you do for a business. What is it that you are offering to them? You need to clearly define what it is exactly that you are offering. Not just building a website, but what is it that that website does specifically for that business? What benefit does that website bring? Okay, so what does having a clear service offering look like? Let's say you worked in real estate, for example, then your service offering might be something like you help real estate agents advertise their properties online to increase the amount of bookings that they get from potential buyers. Whatever it is, you essentially just need to outline how the service that you are offering is going to benefit that business. How is the website going to benefit that business? Okay, the second mistake I see web designers make is not reaching out to the right people. So when it comes to outreach, you not only need to be reaching out to the right businesses, but you also need to be reaching out to the right people within that business. For example, the business owner. So if you're not sure how to actually go about finding a business owner's details, honestly, the best thing that you could probably do is head to LinkedIn, find that business page, go to employees, and then see if you can find the owner or CEO or director or the most authoritative person within that business. Find their information. You could then go and Google search that person even further to try and find some contact details, whether it's a phone number or an email address. That is how you would reach out to that correct person. If you don't have luck with LinkedIn, then you can also use email scraping tools such as snove.io. It's a Chrome extension. It's really good for pulling owners of the business's email addresses. So the third mistake I see web designers make is they are trying to sell websites, which again, sounds like the type of thing you should be doing. But the bottom line is, as a business owner, we often don't care about our websites. There are many business owners out there that if you could visualize a list of the business owner's problems, like the website is going to be right at the bottom. So if you're pitching them a website, they are not going to listen. So we just need to reframe this. We need to identify what their top 3 to 5 problems are, and then we need to show them how a website is going to help them with those problems. So for example, if they are struggling with revenue and they are potentially having to lay off staff and it's literally keeping them up at night, you can show them how a website would potentially bring them in more customers and then eventually start making more sales by way of online. But in order to do this, you yourself need to understand how a website can fix a business owner's problems. So an example of fixing a real life business owner's problems would be, let's say you had a wedding photographer and this wedding photographer constantly received phone calls checking whether they were available and being bombarded with questions about random little things. Now, the way in which a website could actually fix this would be having an online booking or availability system so people could go in, check the availability themselves and book directly with them. Also, having something as simple as an FAQ section on the website would answer a lot of the common questions that he receives on a daily basis, which then as a result is going to free up a lot more of his time and he's going to be able to book more meetings because he has the time to fulfill them. So now we're moving on to number 4. The the fourth mistake that I see web designers make is actually a really easy fix, and it sounds so silly, but it's reaching out to businesses with an unprofessional email address. So I received this myself, and the amount of emails that I get from business owners who are sending me an email from a Gmail address or a Hotmail address or something like that, some free domain, it lacks credibility, and it kind of subconsciously makes me judge them as a business, and I would rather not do work with them. Now, it sounds silly, but it will happen more often than you realize. And if you are a legitimate business and you're trying to position yourself as a professional or a web design agency, and you don't have a professional email address, you are really going to struggle. So I'm going to assume that you have a website already, and if you do, perfect. That means you have a domain name. So all you need to do now is go to your website hosting or your domain name provider and just add a mailbox to it. It costs, around $5 per month. Add a mailbox to it. You can have a professional email address, which then means that if you are using this email address to do outbound outreach to businesses to try and secure new business within your web design agency, you are going to get a much better success rate. Now, the fifth and final mistake that I see web designers make is you guys are not charging enough. And honestly, I've been guilty of this myself. When starting out, it's very easy to just accept a project for like $200, $300, $400. But the bottom line is a lot of work actually does need to go into a website, from design, build, testing, sign off, launch, all the communications. If you are charging $400, then you are still going to be losing money. Now, I'm aware that confidence is a big thing here, and a lot of you might not have the confidence to charge a lot more money. Maybe you don't feel like you're worth it, and trust me, I've been in that position myself. But as a web designer and a business owner, you need to hold yourself at a higher standard and understand that you are worth a lot more than just a couple $100 per each project that you do. Now, if you think about this, if you are outreaching to businesses and you up your prices to $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 per project, the chances are you're going to receive a lot more no's. But when that one person says yes, you're having to do one website for a huge amount of money, whereas you would have had to be doing 5, 6, 7, maybe even 10 to even earn the same. So hopefully now you can identify those 5 mistakes. If you are making any of them, then you should be able to resolve them no problem. If you are still struggling, please do reach out to me. I've just launched a group coaching course, so I'd love to share more information about that. There'll be more information coming very soon by way of a YouTube video. So again, look out for that. Now, if you found this valuable, please do give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Let me know down in the comments whether any of these 5 things seem to be holding you back within your web design business. I'd love to know. And if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button. Now, the end screen is coming up, and there'll be more videos there delivering tons of value. So go and check that out. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.